Alright guys, welcome back to YoSpilt. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And in this video, as it states in the title, we are going to go over exactly how much it costs to build the H22 EK I call the winter beater. I'm going to try to do this whole thing in one take without stopping and go right in order so I can give you a final number, how much it costs to build the car, and then give you some options of how you can make it cheaper or more expensive. And hope you guys enjoy and stay tuned. So let's get right into it. So, right off the bat, the Civic itself. I bought a 1998 Civic EX fully loaded sunroof, power window, power lock car. The VTEC car is important. Later on in the video, I will tell you exactly why. So, the Civic was on Facebook Marketplace. The guy wanted $800 for it. The pictures, it looked amazing. I went and checked it out in person. You should always do that before you buy a car. Sight unseen. Sometimes it's sketchy. So, go look at the car. The car had one little rust bubble on the hood and one little rust bubble underneath. But for a Pennsylvania car, it is very clean. Now, it does have dents in it, but I am not worried about the dents because, like I said, winter beater. I do not 100% sure that it's going to stay perfect condition. If I go out through a field in the snow, it might get damaged. So, not too concerned. Now, took the car home for 500 bucks. The front end was off, the motor was blown up, and it had no exhaust on it, but it was in the trunk, so I wasn't too concerned about it. The motor, the H22 I purchased, was from a friend. He bought the motor from a shop that couldn't get it to run properly, but they weren't specialized Honda technicians. They don't even work on Hondas. They work on V8s, and they couldn't get it to run. He did a compression test before he bought it, and the reason why he bought it is because he's seen it had 220 on all four cylinders, and they were selling him a complete H22A with a 5th gen Prelude transmission for pretty much dirt cheap. So when he needed to sell it because he needed space in his shop, he hit me up before he actually posted it on Facebook Marketplace as well, and I told him I would buy it because of the price he gave me, which was $600. So for that $600, I got the H22A, a M2Y4. It was still bolted together with a OEM clutch and flywheel. It had a header, it had power steering, it had AC, it had an alternator, it had a complete wiring harness, it had shifter cables, it had a shifter, and had a whole spare H22 block that was all torn apart that I guess they used for parts or needed for troubleshooting. Don't know what it was for, but I had a whole spare H22 with it. So for 600 bucks, I basically got two H22s, one that was complete, together, transmission, flywheel, everything, one that's all apart, which I might use for later build for the H22, maybe turbo, something down the line, sooner or later. But $500 car, $600 motor swap. Now, the part where this gets not so budget friendly is the motor mounts. I hate searching for motor mounts and T-brackets and all this. Oh, you need to change the post mount and this and that to do this swap. Not a fan. So, went to Hasport. Known Hasport for years. They make great products. Ordered their H22 swap kit that comes with the T-bracket and the whole 9 yards. $500. So, the mounts cost as much as the car. Yes. So, mount kit came in, put the motor into the car, had to massage the rear T-bracket a little bit, but it did fit without too much, hassle. And now I had an H22 mounted in an EK. So after that, I was like, okay, well, I need axles, I need a shifter, I need fuel, I need a distributor, I need a bunch more stuff. And like I said, this is the small things that really add up quick. So you have three options for a shifter. I could have used the Accord shifter that I was given with the swap or the Prelude shifter, which would have cost nothing. But I wanted something nice that looked good. And like I said, it's going to be my car to have fun with. So I don't want it to have a, wimpy loose shifter. So I went with the eBay knockoff K-tuned race spec shifter with the race spec cables and the adapter bracket to hook it to the H22. That alone was $350. The cables are like $180, the shifter is like $120, and the adapter bracket is another $50. So now you have your Civic, you have your H22, you have your mounts, and you have your shifter. Oh, well, I didn't want to run the OEM header that came with the car because I wanted to put a cat and a high flow exhaust on it. So I went with a 1320 tri-Y header and a 2.5-inch high flow cat because of Pennsylvania. I wanted to pass inspections 100% legally without doing any fraud or anything like that. And then I put a full 3-inch exhaust with a muffler. The muffler was actually in the trunk. It was a Vibrant 3-inch, which was kind of funny because they welded a stock exhaust into a Vibrant 3-inch muffler. So it was like a 1 7/8 exhaust welded into a 3-inch muffler. Looked pretty funny, and the welds were horrible. So now I had an exhaust, I had a motor, I had a shifter, and everything in the car. Axles, next step. Get the transmission to connect to the wheels. Yonaka $200 300 horsepower rated axles. They were $190 something on sale. Not that expensive. I looked them up, even off sale, they're still only $200 something. So $200 for a set of axles, no problem. So now you have it mounted, you have axles, you have an exhaust, you have everything. Now you need to get it wired. The reason why you buy a VTEC car in the first place is because the wiring makes it almost plug and play. The only thing you need to adapt is the distributor and the alternator. The alternator on a H22 is on the front of the motor. The alternator on a D-Series is on the back of the motor. So you need to extend the wires to make it reach the alternator. Not very hard. You can buy an adapter. I literally just used the Prelude harness, cut it, adapted it to the D-Series harness. Perfect. No issues. Driven miles on the car, charges fine, everything is great. The distributor, on the other hand, on the EK was a 10 plug, which is a OBD2A plug, and the adapter to make it fit the OBD1 Prelude distributor was only $6. Very cheap. Now, if you want to do this on a budget, you can do the same thing, and you don't need to use a standalone ECU or a Honda S300. You can actually get you a P13 out of a out of a Prelude. That's a BB4. Plug it in with an adapter harness to your EK wiring harness, and you could run the car as is on a stock tune, and it will run just fine. Now, for fuel, the VTEC harness plugged directly into the OBD2 injectors that were on the car, so I had no issues wiring that up. And then the fuel line, all you have to do is get a $5 piece of hose from the auto parts store off your Prelude fuel rail, your Civic fuel filter, which is on the firewall, connect them together, and you're done. So now you have fuel, you have spark, and it should run because you now have the ECU. So at that point, you'll have almost $3,000 into your car if you've got everything at the prices I paid for it. You'll have $3,000 into your car. Now, to make the car look better and drive better, I went and did headlights off of eBay, black housings. I did a front lip. I also did a set of coilovers, which were Rev 9 Hyper Streets for $400, and I did a set of wheels and tires. So my wheels are Circuit Motorsports CP22s, and my tires are Snow Goodyears. So the wheels and tires were another one of the big ticket items because they make the car look really good. So I spent $600 on the wheels and tires. The wheels were $280, tires were $320. Just giving you the prices. The lip and the headlights were like $50 each. And then I went and put a fuel pump in the car. You don't have to do that, but when I was tuning it on the dyno, the fuel pressure up top after like 6,700 RPM started falling off. So you could see the injector duty cycle would start going through the roof. So I added a fuel pump, and that corrected that issue. So now that we are done and have everything wired, everything running, and a total for the tire build for my car is $4,000. Now, if I'm going to be 100% transparent, after oils, fixing the leaks, fixing the intake manifold gaskets, lug nuts, all the little things I had to replace on the car, doing the headliner because it was falling down a little bit, and everything, I spent $4,250 pretty much with everything all said and done. And that includes like the little bushing in the rear suspension to get it inspected, windshield wipers, and everything. 100% legal, $4,200. Now, like I said, I was going to give you options to do this a lot cheaper in the beginning of this video. You can get a cheaper shell, which I wouldn't really recommend because you should get a decent shell. The decent shell helps out in a lot of aspects. So you don't have to replace every suspension bushing, tie rod ends, and all that stuff, and brakes. The shifter setup, you could use the stock Prelude. That'll save you, you know, if you have to buy it online, you'll probably pay $100 for a stock Prelude setup. If you buy the K-Tune, you're going to spend $700. If you buy the knockoff one, you're going to spend $300. So you can save, you know, up to $200-300 on that. The header, you can just buy an eBay header. They're $80 instead of the $300 I paid for mine. Exhaust, you could use the stock exhaust on your car that you buy, and a stock cat if you want to. It's going to really restrict the motor, but you could do it. So, you know, that knocks off another $200. Axles, you can use DA Integra axles. So a B17 Integra DA, those axles will fit in an H22 swapped EK with no problems. You'll save like $100. You can buy those axles for $50 at like Advanced Auto Parts. You don't need to buy the coilovers. You can buy eBay mounts. So no coilovers, you save them $400. eBay mounts, you'll save another $400. Wheels and tires, whatever came on the shell you got, if you want it to be cheap. You don't need to put lip. You don't need to add headlights unless you need headlights 100%. You don't really need to add the fuel pump either. If the headliner's hanging down, let it hang. If you want it to be, you know, have that look to it. And you could get the swap price with what I paid for the motor down to about $2,000. Now, if you go on HMO and look up how much an H22 swap actually cost, you're looking at $2,500 to $3,000. So if you get all those prices and get everything all the way down, and then you have to pay full price for the motor, it's going to bring you right back to the $4,000 range that we were at if you could get the motor at a good price. If you're paying the full $3,000 for it, you're now at $5,000 into your car to get just an H22A swapped EK. And that's with eBay everything as cheap as you could possibly do it. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the one take without stopping, even though I messed up maybe once or twice, but it's a good talk. Yes, $4,000 is what I have invested into the car. The extra $250 is miscellaneous, the little things I had to get here and there to fix everything. But yeah, $4,250 total. $4,000 is what I would say is invested into the car. And like I said, this does not include, I don't know if I said this earlier, my labor, my tuning, or my tuning ECU. If I want to put a P13, which I have one in the house, into it and make it run, it will run because it's still in stock injectors, but it might not run very well. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, you guys are the greatest, and if you haven't subscribed to YoSpilled already, hit the little bell icon down below. Have a great night.